Hey traders, so I've had a few questions asking me to give some demonstrations of how to use the Arrow software. So today I'm going to run through the block builder. So when you log in, you come to the dashboard. We're going to go up here to the scenarios tab. So the scenario is essentially your trading algorithm. You can make as many scenarios as you want and you can backtest them as much as you want as well. So if I click on add scenario, this is going to bring up the scenario information page. This is where you can enter in some basic information about the scenario or change the settings. So the name's the name of your scenario. Choose something descriptive so you know what it is you're looking for. In the description field, you can write anything you want. It helps to write a high-level overview of the strategy in here. If you want to sell your strategy in the store, then this is the description that the other users are going to read before buying. The warm-up's important. It's about data gathering. Trading algorithms often need to collect a lot of data before they can start working. So for example, if you've got an indicator with a 14-day moving average, then we need to feed in 14 days worth of data to calculate the value. If you run the scenario without a warm-up, then you have to wait 14 days before this value can start to be calculated. The warm-up can look over the last 20 days, and it's in hours. So the last 20 days would be 480 hours. The accounts for traders, where you can specify which accounts to signal your trades on. You need to select at least one exchange account, since your data watches in the graph will be specified based on the selected accounts in this list. When you're ready, click create, and this will take you to the block builder. The screen will be blank to start with this menu bar across the top. So you've got a couple of ways you can create new blocks. The first one is you can press this plus button in the menu, or you can double click anywhere in the page. So this is going to open up a search window where you can search for the block you want. To exit this search window, press escape. You can also right click anywhere and click add node. Nodes and blocks are the same thing. The magnifying glasses up here allow you to zoom in and out, or you can use your mouse roller or your touchpad. These two arrows reset the zoom settings. So this next option is the multi-selector button. If you press this, you can select multiple blocks by clicking on them one at a time. Or to highlight them all at once, press the select all button. The last two buttons are to save your scenario and to exit. So there's 4 different types of blocks in here. The first ones are the data watchers. These are the blocks that get the data off the market, and we can use these to feed the values into the other block types. If you double click on a block, you can open up the parameters. When you create a data block, you'll need to specify which market you're watching, the currency pair, the time interval in minutes, hours, days, weeks or months, and you'll need to specify which data element is being watched. The high, low, open, close, the trading volume, or some combination of all these. You can use different currency pairs and different time intervals within the same strategy. So the data watchers get our market data for us, and then we need to feed them somewhere. So the next type is the indicator blocks. So the indicator blocks are where we choose which technical indicators we want to use. There's over 100 indicators to choose from simple moving averages to complex calculations. Just remember to use the right data watcher blocks to feed the right data into the indicator. If there's any blocks that you're not sure about, write a comment and let me know, and I'll try and cover as much as I can in this channel. So the third type is the maths block. These are the blocks that we can use to create the rules and the conditions in the strategy. I can compare as many inputs as I want, and I can set rules and conditions based on the comparisons, like if something's more than, less than, or equal to something else. The last one is the action blocks. These are the triggers for generating buy and sell signals based on the inputs from the other blocks. When we create the blocks, we'll need to specify the market that we're acting on, the currency pair, the order type, either market order or limit order, and whether the value being input is a percentage or a fixed amount. Remember that the action block needs a numerical value to be input. This setting here for whether the input's a percentage or not tells the action block whether it's a fixed amount or a percentage of the value of the account. So you can see here in this example, I'm using a math clamp block and I've set the value at 50. So because in here we've got input as a percentage is true, this means that the action block will trigger a buy signal for 50% of the value of my trading account. If I change this to false, then it will try and buy 50 units of the currency pair. Then the last thing to do is name the block. This name here shows up in the backtest results. So if you've got lots of buys and sells, it tells you which block made the order. You can connect the blocks to each other by using a connection or a link. You can click and drag from one block's output to another block's input. If you've got any gaps in your strategy, like a block that doesn't have an input or an output, then you won't be able to save it and run it. The data watcher blocks can have lots of outputs if you need to feed the data value into different places. Although if you have too many, it can make the scenario harder to read. You can also make it easier to read by having groups of blocks together. If you right click on the page, you can click add group, and this will create a boundary. If you have blocks inside or touching the boundary, then moving the boundary also moves the blocks inside of it. The boundary can be resized by clicking in the right bottom corner and dragging. And if you want to change the group title, color or font size, you can right click on the group and click edit group. If you click remove, then this just deletes the group and not the blocks inside it. When you're done creating a scenario, you can click save and exit, and the scenario will appear in your stop scenarios tab in the scenario screen. I always make more than one copy of my scenario so that if I'm making tweaks to one, then I've got something to refer back to. I can do this by clicking on this button and clicking copy, and you'll be asked to enter a new name. Within this menu, you can also change the original settings, edit the strategy, or view the orders. To start a new backtest on one of your scenarios, click on the backtest list button and then new backtest. You can backtest on any period of market data over the last 10 years. Just add in the start date, the end date, and the starting balances, and then click run. You can update the status by pressing the refresh button here. Obviously the speed will depend a little bit on how complicated your algorithm is, but it's faster than any other software that I've used before. If you want to make changes to the algorithm, you can click on the Edit Scenario button here, and when you're ready you can retest under the same conditions by clicking on Repeat. And if you want to revert the scenario back to a previous version, then click on the test for that version and click Restore. When you're happy with your backtesting, you can head back to the scenario screen and run the strategy live by clicking Run. If you're using the free version of the software, then your buy orders will be limited to $500 a signal. There's no limit on sales. To trade larger amounts, you can upgrade your plan using the plans page and use the free credits that they've given you. And there you have it. That's been a very quick run through, hopefully enough to get you started. If you check out the support pages within the app, you'll find loads more videos, guides and tutorials, including a library where they break down and explain every type of block available. If you've got any other questions or anything you want me to cover in particular, drop me a comment down below. Otherwise, happy trading and see you next time.